Welcome to Gamescape3D. We're going to be going over the September release. First time ever, all the prints are printed, all the files are done, all the files are uploaded, all the prints are painted before the first. So we're going to take advantage of that and go over everything. The camera will be adjusting depending on what we're looking at. I'm going to go ahead and start off with our new low profile riverbanks right here. I am distributing one new mat, sort of a deep water flowing river mat. The low profile banks will use our ultra thin clip system. There's a picture of that plugged in there. Probably the easiest thing to do is going to be to plug together, 2 or 3 of these, place them side by side. On a related note, I do have a speed painting video up for painting these low profile riverbanks. I know I've done a few before. This one is a little bit different. I was trying some new things, but it's still very fast. So that's what there is. You got a 3 foot by 12-inch mat that is seamless, so you can make it as long as you want just by getting duplicates of this print at the sign shop of your choice. There is a lot of turns with these low profile banks. So, we can go like this. As you can see, that creates a little bit of a problem with the straight river mat. Let's see here if I find a more appropriate one. There we go. That does create a little bit of a problem with the straight river mat because, the river mat doesn't roll over. What I think I'm going to do is in the next month for October is I may perhaps make a generic green grass mat that people can sort of cut and then work into their curves if they want to have curves. I think that's the way to go instead of asking people to cut up the river mats. I think that's going to be the formula there. Moving into next month, or the next, moving into the October, I'll also do some northern style shores. So you can use these low profile banks as like a beachhead type thing. And I'm sure there'll probably be another style of river mat or two to go along with that. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else I want to mention on these. Man, I think that's it. It's a big set, 21 pieces. We got 9 different kinds of straight tiles. Okay. We got 3 convex soft curves, 3 concave soft curves, and then we got 3 concave hard curves, like 90 degrees, and then also 3 convex hard curves, 90 degrees. So plenty for you to play with. And if those 21 pieces aren't enough, you can go ahead and reverse it, mirror it, and then, double your variety. No bridges yet. I know I did promise that as an expansion on the low profile road, but I've decided to push that off another month because I do what I want. That's my new thing. So that's what I did. I'll do a bunch of little expansion sets for October. We'll call it Cornucopia October, and it'll just be a bunch of random little expansions for different things. Okay. All right, let's move on here. Before the coffee wears off. All right, the next thing we're going to be talking about is our low profile pond system. Okay. And what these are basically frames of banks, three different frame systems that are used to house a pond map that we've come up with. We've come up with 4 different pond maps so far. I'll go ahead and flash those up real quick so you can see them. And the idea is you place the pond map underneath here. Okay, and these can be printed on canvas or PVC or whatever you want. I will try and get our web page up because I know I've been promising to offer that service, and I will at least start offering it domestically um, here very shortly. So one of the pond I printed for this mat is like the swamp mat. It's basically you got a beach and then you got this ledge where maybe there's a foot of water that your characters could, walk on. And then there's like a very deep area in the middle. So I'll go ahead and slide this under so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so this largest frame, oops, is 24 inches. And you get the print and you just have to kind of trace it around the edge and then cut it down to size. That's how it's going to work. Okay. So this is our 24-inch pond here. Okay. All four of our designs are designed at 2 by 2 feet. So this one, you print it full size. Our next frame is 18 inches approximately. Okay. So you're going to print these mats at 75% scale for that mat or for that mat frame. Okay, our final pond frame is only about 12 inches, so you'll be printing these mats at 50% if you want to fill that frame. Okay, and that's how it works. So we got 4 designs, 3 different style frames, and those mats can all be shrunk down to meet the size that you need. Okay, so here's 24 inches with our swamp mat. I'm going to go ahead and move this off. These are also put together with our ultra thin open lock clips, but I think you're probably going to want to, like, for the most part, glue these together since they do glue into hoops. You can just kind of hang them in the wall or something. I think there's a lot more options in terms of storing something like this fully assembled than there is with some of the other large stuff. All right, so we're going to move this swamp mat out of the way. All right, next up, this is our 18-inch pond. All these ponds, the shoreline has a little bit of a different shape to it. So it's not just duplicates of the same shape over and over. Let's see, where the hell is that? Oh, there it is. All right. So here is, what I thought of as sort of a northern style pond, Northern European pond. We will snake that under there. All right. And there you go. Okay. There's our 18-inch pond. Have a nice gradation here on the graphic to sort of create a sense of depth coming off of that gravel beach into the water there. All right, and I will move this out of the way. And this is our last one. It's approximately a 12-inch pond. I kind of painted this one up as more of a desert theme. Our last 2 mats, one is kind of a volcanic geyser pool, like what you got out in Yellowstone. And the other one is kind of an oasis pond. Kind of weird though, like there's no vegetation around it. So maybe the water's poison or something. I don't know, a lot of stuff you could sort of do with that. Let's see if we can fit that in there. All right, so that'll fit in there just like that. There's your either badlands, deadlands, desert type oasis pond. And here we are with our geyser pool style pond. Oops, it's not quite in there correctly. There, that's pretty good. All right, there we go. All right, so there is our low profile pond bank system with the ponds inside, okay? Okay. This is a small hill system, first of 3, sort of a tableland hill. I wanted to do some larger hills because our little hills and plateau set have been pretty popular. I thought it'd be nice to do something a little bit fancier. So these are sort of inspired by the Black Hills out in North Dakota or South Dakota? South Dakota, I think. Uh, anyways, so there is a cave entrance on it as well. I do have a couple others partly designed. I decided to just do one out the gate to make sure it worked the way I wanted it to. And I think this is pretty good. I wanted to do swappable tops for this. So if you don't want this rock formation, you can just have sort of a regular hill that isn't too intrusive. Alternately, we also have a plateau top you can swap on there. And I wanted to make sure, that it was decently easy to sort of put this thing together and have these things remain flat and seamless all the way around the edge. And I think a 4-quadrant hill with a 2-quadrant top is a winning formula. So, I'm probably going to go ahead and stick to that and put out a couple more of these with some different shapes and features. The other thing I did on this, we do have an interior cave. So I did go ahead and make a little cave mat for it. Okay. So that goes in there. Then we have a little bit of an appropriate sort of ground type in there, for when people go into that area. So thought of everything on this one. And of course, these other things will also work on their own. So if you just want to use that little hilltop, that can be like a little hill. The same thing with the stone top here. And by the way, the stone top does have plenty of flat edges everywhere for putting up minis on that thing. There's a ton of little shelves you can stick a mini on there. So that'll make you mountain climbers happy. Okay. And even this flat top, not necessarily appropriate on dry land, but it could work well, on those ponds I just put out, or on that river. It's a river island, right? So there's our pond, and you can have a nice little island in there if you want. Or let me grab that river. Have an island in the middle of your river. And you have like little flat islands like this in the middle of rivers all the time. It's much more common to have something like this than something that's going to have, a ton of features on it. You're probably going to have something like this with a couple trees barely surviving on it. Okay. All right. Next thing I'm going to bring out are our dead hedge fences. Dead hedge fences was the most common type of fence. It's thought in the Dark Ages. And what it is it's just a fence where you stick 2 poles in the ground, and then you shove all your yard waste in between those poles and basically weave a fence of like dead timber. So there's no nails, there's no tying things off. It's a very intuitive way to build, not a very pretty way to build, but so what I'm providing to you is the base here, and the stakes is a 3D print. And of course, this gate piece will be a 3D print as well. And the rest of this is just whatever you find in your backyard. I've already done a video on how to construct these with vegetation from your backyard. They go together very quick. And the worse job you do, the better they look, man. So it is a can't lose type situation there. And these things are pretty cool. All right. Opportunity to have something a little more realistic because your peasants did not have picket fences, and they don't have picket fences in your fantasy world either. So, I mean, you can give it to them, but it doesn't make any sense, at least not to me. So anyways, there you go. Very exciting. This is probably the invention I'm most excited about in the last year because it was just so intuitive and easy, and there's so much people can do with that to just sort of express themselves within the boundaries of this idea. You can do so much. So anyways, moving on from the dead hedges, we're going to go. I did do a little tiny fish pond. This is something that could go next to a peasant hut or something. The idea was, back in the day, and for that matter, even today, one of the easiest ways to preserve fish is just to keep them alive. Fish farming was a major part of life in certain areas during the Dark Ages, so it makes sense that would be something that might occur in a fantasy world. So I made a little pond battle mat here with some fish in it. Somebody asked for a battle mat without a fish in it, so what I did is I went ahead and went back and just made battle mats for like every scenario. These ones are a little curly because I used a PVC I don't really care about, for testing. So there's a pond without any fish. And then I also carried things over from the low profile road. So I did the whirlpool thing. If you want like a magical hole in the middle of your forest or something, we got a little swamp thing there, a cesspool maybe. I did a little one-off geyser hole if you want some kind of volcanic geyser pool in the middle of your forest. I did that, a little miniature print of that northern lake. These prints here, they're going to be 4¼ inches, so they're already properly sized for this. So all you got to do is print them out on something and get them under there. And then lastly, I did that volcano thing. I'll be doing the bug holes next, but also, the mats for those will also be large enough if you, for some reason, you want a dry pond with like a hole in the middle of it. I don't know. These here will be distributed at 6 inches. I'll go ahead and bring the bug holes up next. So the bug holes are basically, there's a number of burrowing creatures in most of these fantasy worlds. Ankheads, boulets, if I'm saying that right. Purple worms, of course. So what I did is I made a series of these burrow holes, and each burrow hole, I made 3 different styles of little holes you can put on there if you want a little bit of an effect in terms of some extra depth to that. It's not quite as effective as the water, but it's all right. It does something. Okay. Let's see. I guess those parts were here after all. Okay. So here's MZ's purple worm. I just found some free models of different things to just show that these things are kind of how effective these things are. So that's like the large hole. Okay. We got a medium hole here. These are good for the ankheads. So if you want those coming out and getting your characters, you can have a bunch of those. Whoa. And your character fight those. And we got a smaller one. I didn't really have anything. I did find a baby land shark though that I could put in there. It was free. Can't remember who the maker of that. That might have been Kay, might have done that one. Anyways, there you go. So 3 different styles. And I noticed messing around with these things that if I stack them up, I basically get, like a giant anthill. So I went ahead and did a kit bash last night real quick and did an anthill as well. So if you want to have some giant ants come out and get your characters, you can have that going on as well. Guess you could have termites and there's some other things down there as well. Anything really. So yeah, nice big sand hill for things to crawl out of. Okay. Thanks for stopping by. There'll be new things coming. So like I said, in October, we'll do a bunch of little expansions to sort of plug up all the holes I've created, making all this stuff, doing 90% of the work. I know there's so much stuff I've promised you guys that I've kind of let fall on the wayside. So we'll see how much of that I can get done. In other news, I have figured out how to do a real elven forest without making overly sized trunks. So we'd be talking about trees this size with swappable tops on your tabletop. And I'm pretty excited about starting to dig into that next after we work through this a little bit. I think there'll always be expansions and everything on this stuff. Um, yeah, so we'll just keep going onwards and upwards. And we'll see you all soon. Thanks so much for your support. Thank you for any comments you want to make. And we'll see you next time.